What's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1967 Chevy Camaro RS SS. Up front is a 6.5 liter V8 and down below is a 4-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Camaro SS for a bunch of reasons, but mainly the fact that this is the very first year of the Chevy Camaro. This is the Genesis. This is the original. This is the OG. And so I'm so excited to share that with you today. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you get a video of your car just like this one. And you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 6.5 liter under the hood. Well, it was rated at about 325 horsepower back in the day, and it was one of 7 engines offered here in the first generation Camaro. And boy, is this a fun rocket ship. I'm a little scared to actually get on this thing. Not only because I get all these sensations, it's sort of shaking a little bit, it has that angry growl, but it also has been raining all morning, and I don't feel like buying my new friend Kurt a new Camaro. So we're gonna keep it in a straight line and keep all 4 wheels on the asphalt. Like I said, paired to a 4-speed manual transmission, it feels like garbage. It's very hard to shift, the clutch is very stiff, but that's how 60s cars were. Comparing them to modern cars, they're awful, but for the era, this was right on par with the Mustang. It's right on par with other pony cars of the era. And so I can't really hate on it because that's just how cars were. It's not fair to judge a car based off modern standards when it came out over 50 years ago. Last but not least, of course, the Camaro is rear-wheel drive. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have only 2 gauges. On the left is my speedometer, and on the right is my fuel. That's it. Not a whole lot of business going on here. On the steering wheel, this is an SS-specific steering wheel, which I love. It's nice and big, and it has the color-matched blue on the outside. Love that. Off to the left, I do have my wiper controls and my headlights. Of course, the headlights are super unique in the fact that they do this. Super cool. And down on the floor, I do have my high beam switch. So it was very characteristic in the 60s, even into the 70s, that car makers would put the high beam switch actually down on the floor. And then moving on to the door, I do have my smoker's window up top. Love that from 60s cars. My crank for the window, latch to get in and out, and my nice little Camaro badge. Really enjoy that feature as well. Moving into the center, I have my climate controls. Extremely basic here, nothing to write home about. And then I have my AM radio. Very simple, it does the job, and then I get an ashtray down below that. I don't really get any center console besides the shifter itself. The shifter looks great and it operates as it should, but like I said, it's a little hesitant to go into the gate. You really got to use all your arm muscles and a couple leg muscles to get it where you want it to go, but hey, that's the 60s pony car for you, baby. I don't have anything in between me, meaning I don't actually get any cup holders. So the 1967 Chevy Camaro SS, as I 100% expected, fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are low. They don't really offer much support, and with only lap belts, they're not very confidence-inspiring, to say the least. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're gonna get in the back here of the 67 Camaro. Little pull latch down here, and it does fold up. It kind of goes up and forward, much like the Mustang. But sitting in the back here, not very luxurious. It is a 2-door coupe. That's to be expected. I do get cranks for my own windows back here, if that's something I'd want to experience. But yeah, not very luxurious, but you could take your friends with you in your sweet first-generation Camaro. I mean, it's just so cool to sit back here and think about how many people experienced the Camaro name for the very first time back in 1967. Pulling up to your friend's house in this thing, that's pretty hot. That's really cool. And so I can't imagine how many people sat back here and was like, Oh, this is, what's this thing called? It's a Camaro? Like, is it kind of like the Nova? Oh, it's not like the Nova and all this stuff. I mean, it's so cool to sit here. I mean, it's just such a rich piece of history, if anything else. I really, really, really like that. Let's go hop around the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk. Then we'll talk about the looks. Of course, it is an American car, so you do get 2 keys, one for the body, one for the ignition. Pop it like that, bring it up. And I love 60s cars. They did this like really thin material, and that was it. They just called it a day. There was no type of sound deadening. You put the spare tire right there, and you called it a day. Some cool, really interesting stickers if you're interested and curious about this stuff. This vehicle is equipped with limited slip differential. Rear wheel may drive if in contact with ground, even though opposite wheel is raised. Kind of a cool caution about limited slip differentials. We don't quite get that in today's modern cars. It is still an American car. It still has a great trunk, which is fantastic and really, really cool to see here in the Camaro. Now we got to talk about the looks. And I mean, it's iconic. It's the most iconic Camaro I think that's ever come out, and that was the original. Now, the RS package did get a couple advantages appearance-wise over the standard Camaro. It got a little bit different headlights and taillights. It gets those hood vents that are not functional, but cool looking. And overall, the RS was more appearance, but the SS gave you that engine. And that's what we love about this thing, baby. And so let's get on to my final thoughts. Well, I want to talk about the history of the Camaro. This car was designed as a response to Ford's Mustang that they released in 1964. You see, when Ford announced that car and put it out to the public, no one knew what to do. Chrysler and Chevy didn't have a rebuttal. And so for a couple of years, the Mustang was on its own. It was in a league of its own, the pony car. So Chevy scrambled. They said, hey, we need to combat this thing. So what did they do? Well, they took parts from their other cars. This shares a lot of underpinnings with the Chevy Nova of the time. The Corvair was rear engine. That wouldn't have worked. And they ended up developing this, which is known as the F-body, which ran all the way up through 2002 with the 4th generation Camaro. And so in late 1966, Chevy announced this for the 1967 model year. And with it, they declared a 50-year-long war.
Camaro, the new car that's something else. Something you've never seen before in a driving machine.
The Ford Mustang has become the most talked about, most exciting, and fastest selling new car in over 20 years.
Chevrolet Camaro, the driver's car. A car with a proud tradition.
That's why Cobra takes the curves like a snake.
The 1980 Camaro, with sleek aerodynamic lines.
This is the new Mustang GT.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Camaro for $85. Your salesperson is ready to give you a complete product presentation.
And so I'm not here to tell you who the winner is. That's not my job. I love Mustangs. I love Camaros. I love this Camaro so deeply. But what I can tell you is that this is the start of something brilliant. I understand the appeal of these cars. They're not the biggest cars that Chevy ever made, but they pack a hell of a punch. And I mean, is there much more raw sex appeal that you could cram into one single vehicle? I don't think so. It's so cool. It's just straight up cool. And so I'm so excited to have the 1st generation Chevy Camaro under my belt now. I've driven the 4th, 5th, and 6th gen, but nothing like this. This was the start of something special, and I'm incredibly thankful to Kurt for letting me take this car out. This is an absolute dream. Kurt's been so awesome to work with. He's really an awesome, awesome guy, and for letting me take this thing out, I mean, that should give him enough brownie points to last him a couple months. So cool. And I am quite enjoying it. As the tires lose traction. Oh my God. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.